What's going on, football fans? That's right, it is Sunday morning and it is time for Fourth and Funny. Let's get started.
3, 2, 1.
And guys, are we ready for a full slate of games today? We got a few teams on the bye week, but we've got our four downs to go over. But I do want to take a moment to start this episode of Fourth and Funny with sending my thoughts and prayers to the Dallas Cowboys team and to the family of Marshawn Kneeland, who tragically took his own life this week. I'm not a fan of the Dallas Cowboys, but nobody should go through the struggle to feel like there's not help. There's always help. Reach out. Someone is there to listen. I promise you. As someone who has been affected by this in their life, I encourage anyone to take that step and reach out for help. The first step is always going to be the hardest, but I promise you, there is light on the other side, and we want you to see the next down. All right, guys, here we go. We're going to dive into the four downs that I've got to cover for this week, heading into week 10 of the NFL. Let's get into it. All right, the NFC West is a pretty packed division with one dog laying there at the bottom, with Seattle, the Rams, and the 49ers all sitting atop that division with 6 wins. Now, we've also got a big divisional matchup this week in the NFC West that we'll cover later in the picks. Early in the season, I predicted that the season would come down to Arizona taking that division. They are sitting there at 3-5, looking to be picking in the top 10 again next season. It's kind of disheartening for my overall pick for the division this year, but moving into week 10, this is gonna be a slugfest, and November is a separation month in the NFL. You really not to spoil what we're going to talk about here, but the playoff picture really does start to take shape. So we're going to see where these other 3 teams end up by the end of the season going into it. It is ironic that Call of Duty 7 is about to drop or has dropped. I don't know. I'm not a gamer. And Arizona put Kyler Murray on the IR for the next 4 weeks. Hey, no conspiracy theorist here, no tinfoil hat. But maybe they just said, hey, look, take your 4 weeks, play your game, get it out of your system. We're going to roll with Jacoby Brissett and see how things shake out. We'll see what happens. All right, guys, heading into second down this week, we've got the Limp'n Lions. Oh my goodness, guys. Last year, our defense got decimated. This year, it seems to be the bug is biting both sides of the ball. We're getting hurt on the offensive line, which was having problems gelling as it was. Now we're getting really bad bit in the secondary. We've got Kirby Joseph not coming back from that knee injury yet. He's taken a little longer to recoup and reheal. From what I've heard over the past week here in Detroit, is it just sounds like it's a nagging thing, and they're just kind of taking it week by week at this point, having him take it easy on that. But the secondary, see that play on words there? Secondary. They've been stepping up and doing well. Not great, but they've done their thing. Calvin Shepard's got the defense looking pretty well, a la Aaron Glenn last year when he had to Band-Aid this defense together. My bigger concern is on the offensive side of the ball, where they're going to shake up the offensive line. We've got a few guys out, a few guys that are questionable. So not sure where that's going to be. The offense has been sputtering. aside from a few big runs, we're not getting those 6-7 yard pushes at a time. We're banging around there at 3 or 4. That Limp'n Lions offense, man, we got to start putting the pedal down. It's November. We got to go. And that was a rough home loss to the Vikings last week. Didn't expect that. They were double-digit favorites at home. But that Brian Flores defense, man, they sacked Goff like 6 or 7 times. Every time I was watching it, sack. You can't take those, especially on those third downs when we really could have used some field goals and such. But let's see if the Lions can turn it around with President Trump in attendance for the Lions and Commanders. Lions are also going to be wearing those silver pants for the first time in a while. Let's see how that uni combination works. So, there we go, guys. Now, for third down, we're going to address the trade deadline that came and went this week. It was Tuesday, I believe at 4 o'clock is the official marker. Not a big splash. It is starting to gain more traction. As I've said before, years past, back when I was a kid, and that's a long time ago. I mean, we're talking years that started with 19 in front of them. The trade deadline would come and go and no one would even know it. Player movement would happen more so in the off season than anything, or just cuts during the season. And that didn't necessarily get a lot of buzz either, unless it was a really big name. But the Jets look like they've decided that they are going to war chest a lot of draft capital. They had a major sell-off of talent. The Bengals did not. They traded a linebacker that hasn't been performing up to standards for the season, but has anybody on the Bengals other than T. Higgins and Jamar Chase and now Joe Flacco? That team just struggles all the way around. Cleveland didn't deal Myles Garrett as expected. There was just a lot of buzz and talk, but nothing major happened. A lot of the top tier teams didn't make moves. Maybe they called and kicked tires and the prices weren't right. You know, Drew Carey, they couldn't get it to line up. Hey, Philadelphia did what Philadelphia did, and we'll see on Monday night what all their additions do to help that team. Again, spoiler alert, they're sitting number 1 seed in the NFC right now. So, does that hold up? But Philadelphia does this, it seems like, all season long up until the trade deadline. They picked up Zadarius Smith several weeks before this, and he's already retired. So, we'll see what happens. All right, guys, fourth down. Here we go. Playoff picture. I spoiled it all episode long. Here we go. We're going to get into it. The playoff picture, we're not going to dive real deep. We know who the playoff players are at this point. Right now, we've got Indy sitting at number 1 in the AFC. And as I just mentioned, Philadelphia sitting at number 1 in the NFC. I know sitting at 5-3, my Lions are still the 7th seed, and the Bears at 5-3 are also just on the outside looking in. But then again, so are the Kansas City Chiefs. November is going to be when that camera really starts to sharpen the focus and you see that playoff picture before we take the snapshot at the end of the season, guys. Do you think, let me know down in the comments, here on fourth down, it's 4th and long, we've got a long way to go. Does Indy and Philly hold up in the number 1 spots in their respective conferences? Let me know down in the comments. Also, if you could, like, subscribe, and share this podcast around, guys. Let's hear what you think. I'm telling you what I think. I'd love to hear what you think. So, 4th and long, what do we think? Who's going to stay at the number 1 seed, or who do you think is going to overtake Indy or Philadelphia at this point in the season? All right, guys, that's our 4 downs for the week. Let's get into my favorite portion of the show, the picks. All right. We got an early one today, guys. I'm going to try to get this episode dropped in time for you to watch this. Atlanta and Indy playing in Brazil this week. It's an early morning, 9:30 Sunday kickoff. We're going to be a pot of coffee deep and ready to watch this by then. Give me Indy to get the win over in Brazil. Our next game in the early 1 o'clock window is going to be Cleveland and the Jets. The Jets had a fire sale. They got rid of Sauce Gardner. They also just got rid of some other defensive parts and pieces. Myles Garrett is going to do Myles Garrett things. Give me Cleveland in this one. We've got New Orleans taking on Carolina. Carolina seems to have a little bit of a resurgence here of late. Bryce Young, I haven't paid too much attention to him, but he seems to be guiding this team to at least a steady flow. They've won a few games here and there. I think I lost on that one last week, but I'm not going to make that mistake again. Give me Carolina over the Saints. Then we've got MVP rumor mill around Drake May and the New England Patriots taking on the better Baker Mayfield down in Tampa Bay. This is going to be a prove-it game for those guys, so let's see. I'm taking Tampa Bay in this game. Lamar Jackson has been back. This will be his second game back for Baltimore. They're taking on J.J. McCarthy and the Minnesota Vikings. I like Baltimore in this game. That Brian Flores defense is crazy good, but they've got Derrick Henry. They've got, as long as he can hold on to the ball, and Lamar Jackson back who can scramble and break that defense's back. Give me Baltimore in that game. We've also got Buffalo taking on Miami, down in Miami. They've already fired their GM. Mike McDaniels is a dead man walking. They really didn't do anything at the trade line as far as fire sales, so I'm not sure what's going to happen. Rumors were there were some calls made on Jalen Waddle, and the asking price was too high. So I think that's going to be more of an off-season issue for the Dolphins to deal with what they're going to move forward with, what parts and pieces they'll keep. But give me Buffalo to take out the floundering fish down there in Miami. All right, guys, now we've got the Giants and Chicago Bears. I think the Giants' defense is going to outlast Caleb and that offense. Give me the G-Men. All right, Jacksonville and Houston. C.J. Stroud is out with a concussion. Give me blonde Barbie down there in Jacksonville. Get a haircut, hippie. And then we start getting into the late window of games, and this is where that stockpile of NFC West matchups happens. First up is Arizona taking on Seattle. Again, I said earlier, Kyler Murray is out. Those receivers are hit and miss. They're inconsistent. I like Seattle in this game. Sam Darnold is playing at a pretty high level out there. Jackson Smith and Jigba, great year that he's having out there. Give me Seattle in this one. Then we've got the Rams taking on the 49ers. Matt Stafford taking on Mac Jones and the Niners. All right, guys. I got to break it down for you as the seasons go on and the longer Matt Stafford plays away from Detroit. I have to say that we really did waste what a great career he could have been. Give me the Rams in this game. Go Matt Stafford. If my team can't win it, I'll cheer for another guy. I'm like that. Give me the Rams in that game. And then Sunday Night Football, guys, we've got Pittsburgh traveling to L.A. to take on the Chargers and Harbaugh. I like Aaron Rodgers in this game, smelling salts and all. You know, let's go. chuck that ball downfield. And then the Monday night special matchup of Philadelphia and the Green Bay Packers. Green on green crime. Let's see what Philly does with all those nice new toys that they just loaded up on over the drafts and whatnot. Not the draft, the trade deadline, excuse me. The trade deadline. And early, before the season even started, the Packers went out and picked up Micah Parsons. Now, let's see if that can hold up. I'm hoping for another tie. That would be amazing for me as a Lions fan, just saying. But give me Philadelphia to take out the Packers in Lambeau. I just think that it's going to be too much for Jordan Love and company to handle. And our teams on the bye this week are Cincinnati, Kansas City, Tennessee, and the Dallas Cowboys. Again, much needed after the tragic events that happened down in Texas this week. Again, prayers to Marshawn Nealon's family and teammates and the Dallas Cowboys organization. Again, we all need help sometimes, guys. And it's okay to talk to somebody. We've all been there. I can admit it. Let's do it. Reach out for that help. All right, guys. We're going to wrap it up. That's been Fourth and Funny. Let's get into the games. Have a good weekend.